Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Simon here with another episode of Naruto, episode number 24. And last episode we were introduced to a lot of new characters. There was a lot of new information. Like I say in my notes, I've got more notes on that one episode than I do for the last three combined. So that shows you how much new information was brought in and how many new names that I had to learn. Again, thankfully, a lot of you were in the comments sort of giving me little tidbits, just to sort of help me along with, for example, the village the Hidden Leaf Village is in the Land of Fire, which confuses me a little bit because I don't understand what leaf has to do with fire. Leaf to me is always associated with earth and, nature. Fire, I would maybe associate with sand, although, I can understand why that would be associated, with wind or something like that. So some of the classifications of village are a little bit unusual to me, but it's not something that I'm bothered by. It's just one of those things where I'm like, oh, how have they managed to determine that that is part of the Land of Fire when it's leaf? If anything, you don't want to introduce, as we've seen with the wildfires in America, you do not introduce any kind of plant life to fire because it makes things go really bad really quickly. But obviously we met the 9 junior genin from the Hidden Leaf Village who were participating in the Chunin exam. They have been very kind of openly mocked, and people really are not giving them much respect at all. And we had Kabuto, who is one of the more senior boys from, the Hidden Leaf Village, who's tried this now, 4 years? And, he's there trying to give them a little bit of information, a little bit of help, which is really nice. But then we saw him, sort of taken out, well, not taken out, but we saw him, sort of humiliated by members of the Hidden Sound Village. And I still believe it was a sonic attack. It really knocked his balance off. It didn't have to connect physically. There is enough unseen forces there that, it affected him in other ways. But it looks like we are going to begin the trials, which, again, I really don't know how these guys are going to fare. There is the opportunity to retry, so certainly this isn't a situation where it's, all or nothing. If they lose, they can come back. If it hadn't been that situation, then I would definitely see them succeeding and getting through. But now that I know that they can try again, I'm erring on the side of caution, and I'm going to say that they may not succeed this time. And they may sort of enhance some of their rivalries with certain members, like Gara, who already Sasuke is kind of taken a bit of a hatred to. And they may strengthen some of the other, friendships. Maybe, with Rock Lee's team. We see them start out with a bit of a frosty relationship. I could see maybe all 9 members of, the junior genin becoming a bit closer as they realize that, it's them against the world. And whilst this is like individual exams, individuals get qualified, it's better to stick together where possible. So, we might experience a little bit of temporary, sort of unease between those 9. But I think eventually, through this story arc, they'll probably become quite close, or at least they'll gain a new respect for one another. There isn't really too much respect for most people in that room at the moment. Naruto, obviously, in his own way, announced his group to the whole of the candidates of the exam in the way that only Naruto could, because, he has to be loud, he has to be proud, he has to be arrogant. That's just his way. And, the rest of them, I think now they've got no other choice but to kind of, sort of sit down and say, right, well, we've got to work together, or at least we've got to respect each other enough to not cause each other to lose. So anyway, we are going to jump into this episode number 24. Before we do, I want to say a big thank you to my Patreon super supporters, Frank Tremel, Karen Abel, Ace, Nick Walters, The 7 Deadly Sins, Damon Smallwood, Michael Y, IrishCal, Richafa, Clara, Gros-Louis, and Mr. Greg 89. So, without further ado, let's jump in and see what happens.
Knock it off! Who told you you could fight? You want to fail before we've even begun?
Sorry, it's our first time. Guess we're a little jumpy, sir.
He looks like he's not going to take no shit.
There will be no combat between candidates.
The what? Did he say? Written?
Yes. Naruto's worst nightmare.
This is already a disaster.
Tough luck for Naruto. Written
Sakura's...
definitely not his strong point.
Yeah, she's going to be in her element here. I imagine she does quite well on these.
Contrary to what some of you may be used to, you all begin the test with a perfect score of 10 points.
Oh, I see.
1 point will be deducted
So they'll lose.
get wrong.
Okay.
So if you miss 3, your final score will be 7.
Is there a qualifying amount?
0.
Rule number 2. Teams will pass or fail based on the total scores of all 3.
Oh, it's a team? Oh, shit. Sakura's just gotten a lot less, yeah.
You're saying we all get scored as a team?
Silence!
No questions.
They will subtract 2 points from the culprit's score.
Oh, really? I thought they would just get kicked out.
Be warned. Their eyes
Cheating's pretty serious.
And if they catch you 5 times, you'll be dismissed before the tests are even scored.
Who would try and cheat 5 times?
They make it so there's all sorts of ways you can lose points.
Sheesh, they make it so I can't cheat.
Cheating by the Sentinels doesn't deserve to be here.
We should survive this.
One more thing. If
Don't be so confident.
get a 0 and fail the test, then the entire team fails.
There you go, you had to go and say it. No pressure, Naruto. Oh man, this brings back memories of being in school and
Focus, Sakura, focus. This
having to do exams.
Just leave it. All I've got to do is just relax and take my time. Just read through all the questions.
Write down, I am a fish. Sign it and then pass out.
Okay.
It's a little reference for anyone who gets that.
I see. I've got to decipher a code. Okay, skip that one.
each problem's more difficult than the one before.
What's the last question going to be?
Well, that's interesting. I can't begin to understand a single one of these problems.
Yeah, what if it's Sasuke who gets 0 and Naruto actually answers one?
I'm almost tempted to... No, I can't do that.
Don't cheat.
It's almost like they're trying to get us to cheat.
Yeah.
Just hope Naruto and Sasuke
Is this a test of who can cheat without being spotted?
No way.
Why only a 2-point deduction? Doesn't make sense. Ordinarily, if someone's caught cheating even once...
Yeah, there's some logic behind it. Are they trying to see who will take a risk?
Anyone fool enough to let himself be caught cheating by the Sentinels doesn't deserve to be here.
They're not saying you can't cheat. They're saying
Exceptional shinobi you can be.
don't get caught.
So that's it. Yeah,
That's the true test.
gotta be it. This is about more than the written exam. The real aim
But if everyone has to cheat,
is our knowledge, but our
where are they getting the answers from?
information.
I knew the dog was gonna... He's giving him the answers.
Boy. Yeah, that'll do it. Okay.
But does he speaks dog?
Number 4.
He's gonna sense the sounds of the...
Judging from the rhythm,
Yeah.
duration, and the frequency of the strokes.
That's pretty cool. That he can literally hear what someone is writing. Oh, that's Bug Boy. Shino. So he's more than just protective of bugs, he can connect with them.
Huh? If you want, I could show you my test.
I'm pretty sure that's...
Let me look at her test.
I'm pretty sure they're going to hear that.
You want to do that? Unless, of course, it's some kind of trick.
He is getting the whole wrong side of the coin.
Hinata's not like that.
It'd be nice if we could all stick together. I mean, the none of us.
Surely they can hear this.
That makes sense, I suppose. I thought you were trying to pull a fast one.
They're shinobi.
Sorry.
They have heightened senses.
This is my lucky day.
You just failed the test.
5?
You and your teammates will leave the room immediately.
He cheated 5 times.
We were chosen for this duty because we don't make mistakes like that.
Yeah.
You can't even blink without us seeing it. We're the best of the best, and you, my friend, are history.
Though he has a bit of a disadvantage in that he can't see.
Bingo. I hit the jackpot with this guy.
Assuming he's getting it right. I mean, can you imagine if they planted someone there with the wrong answers
Oversized forehead of yours
to catch out everyone who's been cheating?
to work for me. Thanks, Sakura, for letting me hang out in your
Wow, okay. In her soul.
cramped in here. Now, I've got to memorize these answers quick so I can pass them on to Choji and Shikamaru.
That's crazy. Her internal monologue is now Ino.
Numbers 33 and 9.
Oh, what's he doing? Oh, an eyeball?
The opening of the third eye,
Okay.
visibly linked to the optic nerve.
Is he going to be able to see through the sand?
After all, they haven't even noticed that there's one more sentinel than there used to be. Right, Crow?
Oh, shit. Oh, that's Crow.
In 5 minutes, they'll give out the 10th question. So that's what it comes down to.
Is the 10th question going to be like an easy one?
Waiting on that. But
Is it a case of like survive? Okay, so was not expecting a literal exam with the Chunin exam. That kind of brought back some memories for me of school and being in exams myself. And whilst I enjoyed school, not so much the exam side of things. I used to get a lot of anxiety during exams because, unlike Naruto, I normally wouldn't have a problem actually answering the questions, but I'd get through them really quickly. And so I'd often find myself kind of sat there thinking, why have I still got half an hour to go and I've finished everything and everyone else is still writing down their answers? Have I done something wrong? Have I missed an answer or missed a question? You know, so I'd get a lot of anxiety over that and I didn't really enjoy the exams. So this episode very much, you know, was a flashback for that. But it is an interesting premise because it does allow us to see some of the abilities and, you know, the tactics of some of the newer characters. For example, with Ino, you know, she showed us her mind transfer jutsu, which, you know, must have been terrible for Sakura because, you know, she was literally taken over. And I wonder if she was aware of that because, you know, she's someone who is very much about her inner monologue. And now she's got someone else in there doing a monologue. It must have been pretty terrible. But again, interesting concept about it's not necessarily about not cheating, it's about not getting caught. And it's reading between the lines, which Sasuke thankfully was able to do. You know, he was quite intelligent when it came to that. Less so, I think, most others. I mean, there's a lot of cheating going on. So either people haven't realized exactly what, you know, the point is, or they're just really bad and not getting caught. And some of them, it's like, how are they not seeing it? I mean, one person literally had like wires going up to mirrors. You know, Gara had an eyeball you know, sort of right on the page. I mean, and then Naruto was just clearly, you know, looking over at Hinata's paper. And I was like, how are they not seeing this, you know? They're seeing a lot of stuff that we don't see. But a lot of the obvious stuff is difficult for them to spot. Or maybe they are and they're just not telling us. And I kind of get the feeling here that there is a symbolic nature in all this. I think the last question is going to be something to do with... It's either going to be a really easy question so that the people who have lasted this long and not been disqualified, not been caught, have the chance to actually answer a question honestly and you know, not lose a point, which would prevent them from being eliminated. Or it's going to be a question about the cheating itself. You know, there's definitely something more to it. There's a reason that they have decided to not tell us what that question is. And now I'm pondering what it could be. But I was also thinking, what if they planted someone there with false answers that everyone was cheating off of? Because, I mean, this is the whole point. Their cheating is really just a way of copying down answers from another person. So that means that someone there has to have either been smart enough to answer the question originally, which is possible, but I mean, we saw even someone like Sakura was struggling, or they've planted someone in there with false answers that everyone is now copying, and that in of itself is going to implicate people in, you know, getting caught. But then again, I think that would eliminate 99% of the students if that was the case. It's a very interesting kind of scenario where there's a lot of espionage on the go, a lot of kind of hidden meanings, and you know, I'm not really entirely certain as to what the purpose of, you know, the cheating and the exams is all really going to be. I mean, I wasn't expecting an exam at all. Neither was Naruto, you know. But again, like I say, some very interesting methods of cheating, some very interesting tactics going on here. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this all works out. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed that. And I'll see you for the next one.